Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back and welcome to the review of the Acoustic, which is the brand, G20. This is a 20 watt amplifier with a 10-inch speaker in it of all things. I mean, this is only a $100 amp on sale, regular $139. You don't usually see amps this inexpensive with a 10-inch speaker. Now it is also a 6 ohm speaker too, so it's going to limit your choices for replacement speakers if you want to go to a different type of speaker. But generally for 139 bucks you just leave it as is. I mean, personally I would. However, if you do decide to change to a different type of speaker, it must be a 6 ohm speaker, so you're going to have to see what your 6 ohm choices are like for guitar amp speakers. Anyhow, again, I paid $100 for this at Long & McQuaid in North Bay, so in Canada, on sale, regular $139. I've been playing with it for a few days since I got it, and I had one of my students playing on it yesterday as well. Now, they were using the Gretsch guitar. I used my Gretsch guitar in the new amp unboxing video and demo, so check that one out, because then you'll hear what it sounds like on the Gretsch. And then, of course, today we're going to use my Jackson JS32, the shredder guitar. So this thing has very high output humbucker pickups, ceramic pickups. There's 2 humbuckers, so no single coil stuff. And we're going to go through a little bit of clean, a little bit of dirty. I'm not messing with the EQ and stuff. It is a very sensitive EQ, and it can really custom tailor the sound in tons of different ways. And there's so many different ways, it would take us hours to go through every possible combination, same as the gain control. So I'm using my favorite position on the gain, and of course my favorite setups for the clean. And it works just fantastic. We will, of course, use the mid-shift control, which is quite unique. It lowers your power, changes the color of the tone. It's really nice. Also, putting the amp at an angle is a very ideal thing, so you can actually hear your amp properly at your ears. So I'm sitting on a chair, and I'm sitting in front of the amp basically about 3.5 feet away. The speaker is angled toward me, so I'm going to hear what the actual volume level is and the actual tone sound that's coming out. If you put the speaker, or put the amp, sorry, just on its feet, it's just going to bounce the sound right off of a wall, dead on. And of course, you're not going to hear what the actual real volume level is, and you're not going to hear your actual tone of what you're producing. Anyway, so I am using an amp cord as well today, because there's a lot of people who are freaks about, an amp cord is so clean. Well, so is wireless, but anyways. So anyway, let's just do a little bit of playing for you guys, and then I'll tell you what I think in the end result here. So we're going to start with clean. I'm going to go through the pickup selections, bridge, and of course the middle position, which is both humbuckers, and then the neck position. We'll do that on clean. We'll switch over to the mid shift, do the same thing again, start at the bridge, work our way up. Then we'll go to the dirty channel, do the same thing. Okay? So, I like the amp a lot. For a small size practice amp, 10-inch speaker, lots of headroom with that 20 watts. As you guys can see in the video, the dials are really not even turned up much at all. They're barely on, and this thing is just nice the way it is for a room this size. You know, fantastic for getting over top of a drummer. I've done it before with 12 watts. I've done it with slightly less than 12 watts and gotten over a drummer. And that was with an 8-inch speaker. So if you know anything about the old PV Edition 20 amplifiers, I actually have some videos on my channel of that amp. That is the exact same amp I used back in the 80s when I was in a band, and our lead guitarist had the same exact amp, and we just let them wail, and you know, they got over top our acoustic drummer without even thinking about it. Anyway, so 20 watts definitely is going to have the headroom for you to do a lot in a lot of different areas of setup for what you're doing. Now, Acoustic is a brand, but they do actually have an acoustic amplifier as well as much higher performance amplifiers in the higher wattage ranges as well. Bigger speakers, the whole nine, built-in effects. Very inexpensive product. They've been in business for like several decades. They do an amazing job. So I'm going to try out their acoustic amp and see what it's like, because it's also very inexpensive. You know, I mean, Fishman is one of the most popular amps out there, which is great. Fantastic amps. I think they're okay for what they can do, but they don't offer me that tonal sound quality that I'm after. Maybe the acoustic amp does, who knows. And it does have its own microphone jack too. But anyways, as far as this acoustic amp goes, this is an electric guitar amp only. I have done this on my demo where I plugged in an acoustic guitar. It sounds horrible. Definitely only for electric guitars, okay? So whether you're running single coil pickups or humbuckers, it makes no difference. You know, it is a fantastic little amp. Now, I can say my opinion, everybody else can say their opinions, we all have our opinions, but I think that when you're looking at an amplifier for a beginner or even an intermediate kind of setup where, you know, like you can't really put a high performance amp in your apartment and turn it on because your tonal quality really isn't there with a lot of amplifiers. Well, Katanas are the exception, they keep their tone no matter where they're at, but not everybody wants a Katana either, right? So with an amp like this, it does have a very good tonal range no matter what you're doing. So up or down in the volume levels, the mid sweep on there for the mid shift works fantastic. It's got lots of gain control as well. I mean, I'm up here at around basically let's see, 130 on the dial. So if I kicked it back even down to here, and we'll take the mid switch off. And gotta make sure we're actually on the dirty channel here. So this is what you get with lower gain. It's still a really nice breakup. It's a lot cleaner. The other position is a lot more saturated. And then when we switch up, go back to where we were. It's got good saturation, and we can get even more out of it. I think in all though, for the money you're not going to go wrong for the money. For $100 on sale, $139 regular, definitely worth every penny in my opinion. I have not seen many amps out there. I don't even think there is any other amps out there that I know of anyways that come equipped with a 10-inch speaker like this and at this price range and at this wattage too. They do have a G10 amp. I can't remember the size of speaker in it, but they do have a G10, which is a 10-watt amp. And of course, like I said, they have the higher ends. But for an amp that's got a really nice clean, a really nice dirty, and that's all you're getting, there's no frills, there's no reverb, there's no chorus, there's no other effects. That's up to you. But even just the way it is, and even without the reverb, and I always like a touch of reverb, I actually don't mind this thing not having reverb access. It's for playing certain things, it just works. You know what I mean? For me. For other people, it may work for you too without reverb, but if you need reverb, you can always buy a reverb pedal. Throw a pedal on it. Throw a pedal guitar processor board on it. You know, it's idealistic for that because it's just a straight, clean, and dirty amp. So leave it on clean, throw your pedal board on, and knock your socks off. You're going to get a lot out of that 10-inch speaker, you know, and a lot out of the wattage too. And it's not very big, it's not very heavy either. You know, the open back enclosure is great because it allows you to change your tonal response by putting it closer to or further away from walls. Different angles are going to do for different things for you. Where a closed back amp, you're stuck. You can put it on an angle to get it pointed toward your ears more or towards your crowd, but you're not getting anything out the back end, and it tends to be a lot more muffled and tighter sounding. But if that's what you're into, go for it. I like the open back enclosures. You know, even my Katana came as an open back, and I love it. It's fantastic. The sound that you can get out of open backs is just amazing. So yeah, for budget, for a beginner, for even intermediate players, you don't, you know, you can't really afford the banging on the door of the neighbors when you're turning up the volume a bit. You know, this is ideal, right, over a big rig, right, for practicing at home with, or in the bedroom with. It's fantastic. And you do have the headphone jack out there too, so you can plug headphones in, which is also great. And the MP3 player input, also ideal. Play along with your backing tracks or favorite music. Now, where I want to put this amp, though, is actually in a very serious 4 out of 5. And the reason why I'm knocking so much off of it, number one, it's not perfect. As you know, guys, I never give you guys a 5-star review because I can't. It's impossible. Nothing is perfect. But this thing has one oversight, and that's the speaker. Now, not the fact that it's a 10-inch, it's fantastic, but, you know, if you ever did want to change to a different type of speaker, there's a lot of options out there in 4 and 8 ohm speakers for guitar amps, but there's not going to be very many options out there in the 6 ohm range. And if you do drop a 4 in here, yes, you increase your output by almost, well, quite a bit more actually, for that 2 ohm drop. I can't give you the exact numbers because I don't know them off the top of my head for that. But it's going to create a lot more output, yes, through a 4 ohm, but your amp's going to run hotter. The same thing happens when you go to a higher ohmage speaker than what it's rated for. You actually lose wattage output, and you are forcing things to be higher up. Therefore, you are also overheating your amp. So it's kind of a lose-lose on that. So you kind of need to stick with the ohmage of speaker that is designed for your amp, bottom line, whether you're trying to use a cab or not, whatever. But just as a replacement speaker, there's not going to be a lot of options out there in the 6 ohm range for a 10-inch speaker for guitar amps. But who cares really? It's a $139 amp, regular price, $100 on sale. Who really cares? The built-in speaker sounds fantastic, you know. But either way, because of that oversight there on that 6 ohm thing, I have to put it at a 4 out of 5. But I still highly recommend the amp. I think it's great. If it's your first amp, you're going to love it. I mean, if I was to tell you the difference between the PV Edition 20, which was my very first guitar amp of a real amp, okay, not the one I had previous, which was like garbage, but my first real amp I bought myself was a PV Edition 20 back in 1984-ish, 84, 85 time period. Anyways, that amp was just awesome. 12 watts of power, no problem getting over the acoustic drums in the band. Just a fantastic little amp, 8-inch speaker in it. Smaller in size physically than this too. This thing kicks its butt in my opinion, okay, and at a cheaper price, right? So, you know, that's great. I'm actually enjoying that. That's just awesome. And it has almost, I wouldn't say quite a Vox look to it, but it's probably not that far off because the speaker grill itself is just kind of where I'm picking up the Vox kind of looky, in a sense, but not quite, I know. But either way, I definitely would recommend the amp. Do try one out yourself. Go to your local Long McQuaid if you live in Canada. Try one out. Bring your axe with you. Your favorite guitar. Bring it with you. And if you have a guitar with humbuckers and a guitar with single coils, try them both out at the store. They don't mind you doing that. I bring my gear in, you know, whenever I get to it. If I really am looking at an amplifier, then I'll bring my own guitar with me. Because it's better that way to use your own guitar with an amp you're looking for, so you can match those pickups to that amp right, so that you get that sound you're after. But I find that on the Gretsch that I have, which is what I did on the new guitar amp unboxing demo, that video, and now doing it on the Jackson, for you guys too, totally different guitars, different pickups, different period, universes apart actually. They're both fantastic on this. I was actually in at Long McQuaid the other day. They still have my old Gibson Les Paul Studio, if you remember that, with all the gold on it. I'm trying to buy that back on Gibson Month if I can. I plugged it into this thing the other day because they still had one set up for me at the store. Well, for everybody actually, but they still left it set up. And I tried it out with the Les Paul, and even splitting the coils. This amp sounds great with that Les Paul. You know, I'm really tempted to buy an SM57 mic this sucker up if I do get the Les Paul back, and use this for a lot of my recordings, because yeah, this thing just, on that Les Paul, it sounds fantastic. So if I do get the guitar back, I'll do a demo for you guys with that, using the camcorder, of course, like I am now, because I like to give you guys unprocessed sound. I want you to hear my room acoustics. I want you to hear for what it's really like in real life, without having any of that processing or changing things to sound so much better, right? Because you do see a lot of that happening on a lot of videos. So I give it how it is, and I tell it how it is. So go try one out, and if you like it as much as I do, then by all means go buy yourself one. If you're looking for an amp for a beginner player, you cannot go wrong with this thing. It is definitely a fantastic little amplifier. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you think of it. Go check out the other video of the new guitar amp unboxing day of this with the demo with the Gretsch, so you can compare the Gretsch to this. I may end up doing a video eventually where I'll just do both guitars with this amp at the same time. I don't know yet. We'll see what happens in the next while. But otherwise, in the meantime, do check out both this video, of course, which you're watching now. Go check out the other one. You can hear what the Gretsch sounds like on it. And yeah, see you in the next one. Ciao.